The conversation surrounding Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz has evolved into one of the most compelling storylines in modern boxing, a mix of ambition, respect, ego, and the hunger for greatness that defines fighters on the brink of legendary status. On one side stands Crawford, a man who has carved out a legacy across divisions and now finds himself recognized as the face of boxing after dismantling Canelo Alvarez. On the other stands Ortiz, a relentless young contender whose confidence only grows with every punch he throws, every challenge he invites, and every barrier he breaks as he rises through the ranks at super welterweight. Their paths have not yet crossed in the ring, but the pressure from fans, analysts, and both fighters themselves has created a tension that feels ready to ignite into something unforgettable. Crawford has acknowledged that Ortiz has earned his place among the top fighters in the division. He recognizes the young man's power, timing, and eagerness to face the best, but he speaks with the poise of someone who has already traveled the long road Ortiz is just beginning to walk. Crawford sees Ortiz as a legitimate threat, yet he refuses to let himself be rushed or cornered into any particular showdown. For him, everything depends on timing, opportunity, and the direction of his evolving career. Even as Ortiz calls him out with boldness and clarity, Crawford remains calm, responding only with an acknowledgement that the future is unpredictable. Ortiz, meanwhile, speaks with a conviction that can only come from a fighter who truly believes he has what it takes to conquer anyone. He insists that he is ready at any moment and promises that no name, no style, no reputation intimidates him. The idea of facing Crawford motivates him like nothing else. He has studied the champion's tendencies, watched every move, and convinced himself that even at Crawford's peak, he could find openings others could not. He does not speak out of disrespect. He speaks out of ambition, understanding that testing himself against the best is the only true measure of greatness. His rise to 154 pounds has given him new strength and new confidence, and with every victory, he feels the gap between himself and the elite shrinking. But the comparisons began to heat up after Ortiz defeated Israil Madrimov. Fans immediately compared his performance to Crawford's, and Crawford did not hesitate to remind the world that the Madrimov he faced was sharper, better conditioned, and more dangerous. Crawford felt Ortiz had won, but not convincingly enough to erase doubts about how he would fare against someone with elite intuition and fight IQ. His response was subtle but firm, a reminder that at the highest level, domination matters more than victory alone. And even though Ortiz suffered a broken hand in that fight, his aggressiveness and pressure made it clear that he is becoming harder and harder for any opponent to handle. All of this unfolds as Crawford prepares for the next chapter of his legacy, moving into the middleweight division to chase even greater history. His upcoming fight against Carlos Adams marks his intent to become a three-division undisputed champion, a feat that would place him in some of boxing's most exclusive company. If he can defeat Adams and then take on the winner of Lara versus Janibek, he could become a six-division champion and a four-division undisputed champion. These possibilities are monumental, and they explain why Crawford may never return to 154 pounds, even if massive fights like Ortiz or Jaron Boots Ennis wait there. Crawford's body has adapted to heavier weights, his goals have shifted, and the final chapters of his career depend on securing the kind of legacy-defining moments that cannot be denied. Ortiz, however, maintains that he never ducked Crawford either. Despite rumors that he turned down 2 offers from the WBO, he insists no official proposal ever reached him. If it had, he would have accepted without hesitation. His honesty, his frustration with false narratives, and his consistency in calling out Crawford have all strengthened his credibility. Ortiz is not the type to talk his way into attention and then back away when opportunity comes knocking. His father, who tells him the truth without compromise, has reminded him that on certain days he has what it takes to beat Crawford and on other days he does not. Ortiz takes those words seriously, using them as fuel rather than discouragement, building himself into a fighter who believes he can win on the day it matters most. And then there is Boots Ennis, another dangerous presence in the division. He, too, has expressed interest in fighting Crawford, and he understands the stakes of such a matchup. He respects the champion but knows beating him would elevate his own name into boxing history. His face-to-face moment with Ortiz after Ortiz's latest win only intensified the conversation, adding another potential storyline to the future of the division. Their encounter reminded fans that boxing thrives not only on rivalries but on timing, momentum, and the willingness of fighters to forge their own path toward greatness. As always, behind every great matchup lurks the complicated world of boxing business. Eddie Hearn has openly described the issues preventing Ortiz versus Ennis from happening, from financial demands to debates about who deserves the bigger share. For all the hunger between the fighters, negotiations remain tangled in egos and disagreements. Ironically, at this point it might be easier to make Crawford versus Ortiz than Ortiz versus Ennis. Hearn insists the money is there, the audience is there, and both fighters are ready. But until both sides commit, the fight remains stuck in limbo. What remains clear is that the future of boxing at 154 and 160 pounds is brimming with possibilities. Vergil Ortiz continues to climb with unstoppable hunger. Terence Crawford maneuvers through legacy-defining decisions. Boots Ennis stands ready to prove he belongs at the very top. And fans are left watching closely, waiting for the moment when talk turns into action and the next great chapters in boxing history are written. Before you go, let me know what you think. Should Crawford return to 154 for one last mega fight, or should Ortiz chase his own destiny without waiting for the champion? And if Ortiz and Ennis do meet in the ring, who walks away with the crown of the new era? Share your thoughts below, and if you enjoy deep dives like this, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next big story in boxing.